All right, another quarter, another Google core algorithm update. Here we go. This is called the March 2026 Google core algorithm update. It started rolling out in March and then finished rolling out in April. So it's always confusing because it started rolling out like right at the tail end of March, but it always takes 2 weeks, give or take, for it to finish rolling out. And this one rolled out, so it was the most volatile Google core algorithm update yet, which is saying something because I feel like we've said that every time there's been a core update for the past few years, for the past year at least. It's like they keep getting more volatile, and when is it going to end? For those of you not in the know, when we say volatile, it means there was a whole lot of shifting in terms of websites and where they rank. A lot of websites lost rankings, significant rankings, and a lot of websites rose significantly to replace them in the search rankings. So that's what we mean when we say there's a lot of volatility. Normally, in normal times, there would be an update that was, you might see a few shiftings and URLs moving around, but I don't know that we've ever seen one with this much movement and this drastic. Like there were a lot of URLs that moved, and a lot of them moved pretty far. So, for example, 80% of URLs in the top three search results shifted, and 1 in 4 URLs ranking in the top 10 fell out of the top 100, not just the top 10, but the top 100 search results, which in SEO terms basically means they don't even exist anymore because who do you know who actually is going to scroll through 100 listings on Google to find that one thing they're looking for? No one is going to do that. So they took a huge hit. Only 20% of the top three URLs remained in the exact same position by the time the update finished rolling out. So they started in position two, let's say, and then finished in position two. And only 20% of those top three URLs did that, which means Google was making some major changes. One of the reasons there may have been so much volatility is because there was a spam update that rolled out literally the day before this update, the core update started rolling out, which is just Google's way of trying to filter out a bunch of spam. Google always wants to direct its users to useful content that actually provides value to them and not just a bunch of spam. So it is always working to create better and better content, to find ways to create better or direct them to better and better content. So there was a spam update that did that. And then there was the Google core algorithm update, which also did a fair amount of that. So let's talk about the winners and losers. We're not going to talk about any specific winners or losers, but just kind of the general trends that we saw as far as, this is what's common among the winners, this is what's common among the losers. Among the winners, we had, interestingly, an increase in traffic among official and institutional websites, think government websites, websites of old, well respected institutions. Those got a bump in this latest algorithm update. Specialist and niche. This is what we've been saying as marketers all the time. You cannot market to everyone. You have to find your niche and really zero in on it, and then just keep pounding away at that niche. It's good for SEO and it's good for branding and clarity and drawing your ideal clients and all of the things. So I was really happy to see that. It was very validating as a marketer who's been saying this all along. Also, established brands. There's someone who's popped up out of nowhere is really not gonna get anywhere with Google. Not right away. It does take time to build a brand. It takes time to get results from SEO because you gotta build Google's trust. And that doesn't happen overnight, just like you can't build trust with a person overnight. It takes time and repeated effort and consistently showing up in the same way over and over again. Google's the same way. It wants to see that you're established and you've been around for a while and you've been active for a while. Then it will trust you and start increasing your rankings. And dominant platforms. So, in general, we saw a lot of social media fall by the wayside, which I think is interesting. But some of the more dominant platforms, Reddit is a big one. Reddit has been huge in the conversation lately around not only SEO, but a lot of the, chatbot as search engine kind of thing. People using ChatGPT or Claude as a search engine, those LLMs, large language models, also like using Reddit. So I find that interesting. So there was a general increase or a general decrease with some of the more dominant platforms like Reddit have been doing really well. Some of the losers along that line of the dominant platforms, YouTube was actually a major loser in this one. It lost a whole bunch of visibility in this search, which I find boggling, to be honest, because Google owns YouTube. So you would think that Google would want to promote its own platform. But apparently, in the course of creating this algorithm that really focuses on owned media, that you got to have a website, guys. You cannot rely on social media. Um, and YouTube, you don't own it. I use YouTube, obviously, I'm here. YouTube is great for a lot of things, but you cannot use it. You cannot rely on it exclusively. You have to have your own website if you're gonna, if you want Google to direct people to you. So yeah, YouTube is not, it used to be really good for social media because, or for SEO, I mean, just because people would search something and Google would be like, on our other platform over here, we just happen to have a whole bunch of videos that address that. So I think it's really interesting that YouTube lost ground here. Obviously, there's still value in YouTube. It's just not the SEO goldmine that it used to be, which I think is fascinating. Other losers, dictionary and language reference websites, any of those websites that are kind of aggregating information. Um, Job aggregators like Glassdoor and ZipRecruiter also did really poorly. On the other hand, employer sites and specialized platforms like USA Jobs, Amazon.jobs, et cetera, those kinds of platforms, those actually did better because, again, people are looking for something specific and they're specifically going to those platforms. So Google is kind of figuring that out and is directing more people to those platforms instead of something like ZipRecruiter or Glassdoor. Websites health, I was happy to see this. Websites focused on broad consumer health took a hit this time around. Again, you got to specialize. The specialized and the niche industries and websites are really doing better after this update. So you got to specialize. So around health, the websites that focus on clinical research driven content from specialist sources are the ones that benefited. So what was Google targeting this time around? Along with spam, again, AI generated content, generated, I always put that in quotes because AI does not generate anything. AI looks for other content that has said the same thing and just kind of regurgitates it for you. Goes, here, is this what you're looking for? So if you are just taking something from ChatGPT and copying and pasting it onto your website, you're not going to get anywhere. You're not going to get anywhere with the real live people coming to your website either, because they can spot that a mile away. They can absolutely see that and go, yeah, no, why would I go with this over someone else? Who is actually, if they're seeing the same thing on a bunch of different websites and they're seeing the same thing all over social media, you don't have anything to add to the conversation, then why bother saying anything, right? So Google is really looking at content that has a unique perspective, has a take on an issue, demonstrates their expertise. Yes, you can use AI tools to help you create content, but it should not be doing all of the heavy lifting. There needs to be a fair amount of human editing at least in there to make sure it's in line with your brand. It uses the right language that resonates with your ideal clients. It covers the topics that resonate with your ideal clients. All of those things have to be in line. And again, it has to demonstrate your expertise and show off how awesome you are and how you can help solve problems for your clients. AI can help you with certain aspects of that. It can kind of, once you get your ideas in there, it can help you organize them into a nice looking draft, but it can't do all of that for you. So we're seeing a lot of websites that rely heavily on AI repurposed content. Those took a big hit in this latest update. So that is it. So if you need help with any of that, if you want to use AI to help you create content, but you need help with the direction, figuring out your brand, figuring out your ideal client, what content resonates with them, what kinds of words they're using when they talk about you, when they talk about this problem that they have that you solve for them, all that good stuff, that is where I come in. So you can reach me directly at info@AV, as in my initials, Allison Verhalen. That is info@avwritingservices.com. Otherwise, have a great week and happy blogging, everyone.